We have some results from event number 6, the Women's Cal Cup Heat C. First Tulsa, second Alabama, third Bates, fourth Southern Methodist, and fifth British Columbia. And the first heat of the Copley Cup, first Cal, second Oregon State, third Michigan, fourth Bucknell. So Michigan just squeezed into that third qualifying spot over Bucknell in the Copley Cup heat number 1.
Mention once again our scoreboard down in the northern part of the vendors area. Also would like to invite you to stop by our vendors area. Many outstanding companies are featured there as our crews are about ready to go for the Women's Collegiate Varsity Invitational. This is the first heat of the Jessop-Whittier Cup. From the screen's perspective, near side is the University of Iowa. They are outside in lane 6 from our shoreline. University of San Diego in lane 5. It is UCLA in lane 4. Washington State University in lane 3. University of Southern California, USC in lane number 2. And California is in lane number 1, farthest from the screen location. And the crews are getting set to go. For those of you who may be new to our course, it starts down at the Sky Ride stanchions down by SeaWorld and then traverses 2,000 meters for the finish line that is in front of the high knoll that we have here with the VIP tent on top.
So this is the first heat of the Women's Jessop-Whittier Cup. In lane 1, as Alan said, as we're looking at it on the big screen, it's Iowa in lane 6, University of San Diego in lane 5, UCLA in lane 4, Washington State in lane 3, University of Southern California in lane 2, and Cal in lane 1. And as we come off the start line, it's Cal in lane 1 that seems to have jumped out to an early lead. They're closely followed by Washington State, with University of Southern California closely trailing them, with University of San Diego very much in the mix in lane 5 and Iowa in lane 6. As we come into the second half of the first 500, it looks as though it is USC who may have taken a slight lead over Cal, with Washington State tracking UCLA for that third spot at the moment. This, as we come towards the 500, there seems to be a certain amount of separation in the race. First two crews, California in lane 1 and USC in lane 2, seem to have created some separation between themselves and Washington State in lane 3 and UCLA in lane 4. Those two crews being closely tracked by the University of San Diego.
This is the Women's Collegiate Varsity Invitational, second part of our Jessop-Whittier Cup. Checking lane assignments quickly. Cal is along in lane number 1. University of Southern California, USC, is in lane 2. Washington State University in lane 3. UCLA is in lane number 4. University of San Diego in lane 5. And the University of Iowa, Iowa City, Iowa, in lane number 6 on the far outside.
California have had 2 races so far this year. They've beaten UCLA and Virginia. University of Southern California, this is their first race so far this season. Washington State have had 1 duel and they've beaten Gonzaga. UCLA in lane 4, they've beaten San Diego State and Loyola Marymount. They've lost to Cal and Stanford. San Diego in lane 5, they've beaten Kansas, Creighton, Southern Methodist, Tulsa, and Central Florida, but they've gone down to Iowa and Texas. And on the far outside, Iowa, they've beaten San Diego, who are alongside them in this race, and Kansas State, but they've lost to Texas also.
Cal and USC nose to nose along the shoreline. University of California on the lead, but Southern Cal won't go away, but the concentration then would be on the 3rd position. Top 3 crews will be moving forward. The Jessop-Whittier Cup, one of our 3 featured races here at the San Diego Crew Classic.
We're still seeing that separation between the lead 2 crews, Cal and University of Southern California, but it's still a very, very tight race for that 3rd qualifying position between the crews in 3, 4, 5, and 6. Washington State, UCLA, San Diego, and Iowa. If I was to, I really, from this position here, I couldn't see any separation between those crews, although maybe the University of San Diego are falling back just a tad.
UCLA apparently on that lead for the 3rd and final qualifying spot, but a lot of racing left to go.
USC seem to have had a very, very strong 3rd 500. They seem to have pushed out ahead of Cal. I would say they may even have a length's lead at this point. Cal are trying to respond in lane 1. Obviously they don't want to be beaten by their southern rivals, and it looks like they're not taking it easy. They're not pulling back. They're not content with qualifying for the final. Both these crews want to beat each other, but it's University of Southern California at the moment.
USC in lane number 2 on the lead. California in lane 1 in 2nd spot, but then the real bug tussle is going to be out with lanes 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are almost bow marker to bow marker. Looks as though Washington State may have nudged slightly ahead of UCLA. On the far outside, the University of San Diego refuses to go away, and then Iowa on the far outside. This is USC on the lead with Cal in the 2nd spot. They're in lanes 2 and 1 in that order. But this is going to be a wrestle and a half on the outside. We're going to give it slightly to UCLA in the center, but here comes Washington State along the shoreline. University of San Diego on the outside, and then Iowa. It is on the lead as USC, followed by Cal, but the real race is in lane number 3 and 4. This is Washington State University and UCLA. It is Washington State University by about 4 seats over UCLA. Then to the outside, 3 seats back is University of San Diego, and then the University of Iowa. Crossing our finish line nearly will be USC, apparent winner of number 1, California in 2nd spot. It looks like Washington State may hang on for that 3rd position. Outside UCLA, and outside of them, the University of San Diego, followed by Iowa. Looking back, it is close to the finish line for the 3rd and final qualifying spot. It looks like Washington State may have picked it up, followed by UCLA, University of San Diego, and the University of Iowa. Once again, the unofficial winner is the University of Southern California, and California in 2nd spot, followed by Washington, UCLA, USD, and the University of Iowa. Well, just an outstanding finish for that third and final qualifying position, Charles. Washington State, UCLA, University of San Diego, and Iowa certainly put on a show.
Yes, very good racing from all four of those crews. Anyone could have taken it. I think the final position may have come down to who actually got to put their oars in the water last. Interesting to see that the University of San Diego got their revenge on the University of Iowa, it would seem, from their early season loss. We have a result from event number 8, the Men's Collegiate Varsity Invitational Copley Cup, heat number 2, was won by Stanford, second Temple, third UC San Diego, fourth Jacksonville, and fifth Northeastern. So the crews moving through to the final of the Copley Cup. From the first heat, Cal, Oregon State, and Michigan, and in the second heat, Stanford, Temple, and UC San Diego.
The Cushman Wellness Center at Sharp Memorial Outpatient Pavilion offers customized health appraisals designed to help